What's going on, guys? Welcome back to It's Football TV. My name is Azel, and today we're going to be talking about none other than Darwin Nunez. With Benfica already confirming the transfer of Darwin Nunez to Liverpool, we're going to go ahead and look at his career briefly, who he is, and what we think about Darwin Nunez's transfer to Liverpool. A 22-year-old Uruguayan whose professional career started at Peñarol and ended fairly quickly with just a total of 4 goals, sought out a move in the summer of 2019 at just 20 years old to Almeria, La Liga's second division, and where he became Peñarol's most expensive sale at around 7 million euros. Yet again, he would only go on to play with Almeria for a short period of time of one season, in which ended with appearing 30 times and scoring a total of 16 goals and having 2 assists. The small stint was due to the failure of Almeria being able to gain promotion, but that didn't keep eyes off of Darwin Nunez. With Benfica agreeing to a transfer fee of 24 million euros, which is a record signing for Benfica, to be able to bring Darwin Nunez to Portugal and play in their first division. It's no coincidence why Darwin Nunez's career is progressing so rapidly. It's pretty apparent that plenty of clubs see the potential that Darwin Nunez have, especially Almeria and Benfica, because if not, they wouldn't have gone on to go break their transfer record fee for him. But before we start talking about his potential, let's go ahead and look at his first season under Benfica. In his first season with Benfica, while just looking at his stats, it might not tell the whole story, but I can't tell you clearly a whole lot since I didn't watch Darwin Nunez myself in the past. We can see he had kind of a quiet year if we're just going based off his stats. As we can see, he only had 6 goals and 9 assists. But in this past season, this is where we started to hear a lot more about Darwin Nunez, and by just looking at the stats, we can see why. Because he had 34 goals and 4 assists in all competitions. And while I'm someone who doesn't really like to read too much into stats, it's pretty crucial to read into Darwin Nunez's stats. Although he might not have too much to be able to read into, he's a striker. And when you're a striker, your main objective is to put as many as you can into the back of the net. And it's what separates you from being good to great. If Darwin Nunez wasn't scoring this past season, he probably wouldn't be linked to a move to Liverpool. While we can all agree that the trajectory of Darwin Nunez's career has gone super fast with such little of proof to show for that he can become a world-class striker, we can't sit there and not be happy for Darwin Nunez, as if it's not every footballer's dream to be doing what Darwin Nunez is doing. But with such spotlight comes a lot of criticism due to the fact that he's not only moving to a simple Premier League team who fights for, staying in the Premier League. He's moving to Liverpool, and with such a move, especially for the fee that's being reported out of 80 million euros and 20 million euros in add-ons, comes a lot of criticism, and we're already hearing a lot of that criticism on social media, especially when another striker has been already confirmed to a move to Manchester City in Erling Haaland, whose transfer fee is apparently a lot lower than Darwin Nunez. It's going to have a lot of people talking. And not only are people already talking, calling him a one-season wonder, saying that he's going to flop in the Premier League, saying that, he doesn't have the potential to be able to play in the Premier League, comes a lot of expectation, not only from Liverpool fans, but also from Premier League rivals. They see what Liverpool paid for him. They're going to expect Darwin Nunez to be competing for the Golden Boot, basically. And then you see, like I said, Erling Haaland signing for Manchester City. If Darwin Nunez isn't keeping up with Erling Haaland's, goal tally, then you already know that a lot of people are going to be talking about it. But without getting too caught up in what other people are thinking about Darwin Nunez and what they're saying and what they're expecting out of Darwin Nunez, let's go ahead and look into what he actually brings to the table and why Liverpool could have potentially signed him for. So in my opinion, the reason why I think Liverpool ended up, going out for Darwin Nunez is because if you look at Liverpool's roster depth, you see that they have Roberto Firmino, who typically plays that false 9 role, dropping down into the lines and, providing for others. Last season, we saw Sadio Mane taking the number 9 role as well when Luis Diaz would start in the left wing. While he didn't do a terrible job, we clearly all know that he's going to be apparently leaving to Bayern Munich, and Divock Origi is walking for free to apparently AC Milan. So it leaves you with just one striker in Roberto Firmino, and Liverpool fans can clearly, probably vouch in saying that he's not your typical number 9. And bringing in Darwin Nunez to this Liverpool team adds something that you haven't seen before in a while in this Liverpool squad, and that's a lot of physical power and just a lot of physical presence up into the box. Like, just imagine Darwin Nunez's height and receiving a ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold or Andy Robertson. It leads me to believe that Jurgen Klopp has a plan for Darwin Nunez and that he can be a threat. We've already seen it with Benfica, that he can score, he can finish. While his game might not be perfect, a lot of people talking about his first touch, how he's not, he's another Lukaku, you know what I mean? There's a lot of talk going around about Darwin Nunez being terrible, but it leads me to believe that, Jurgen Klopp is bringing him into the team because he sees that Darwin Nunez is something that this Liverpool squad doesn't have. And if you integrate him into a team that is already great, just imagine how much better Darwin Nunez is going to be with people that he's surrounded with that already have so much more, just quality. While I can understand people's argument in saying, well, Darwin Nunez had one good goal scoring season, it's not going to, transfer into the Premier League, he's going to flop. I can see why people can say that, but we have to remember that he's coming into Jurgen Klopp's team, and Jurgen Klopp is known for, dealing with good strikers. We saw him at Borussia Dortmund with Lewandowski, Aubameyang, and we've seen it with Liverpool, not necessarily with strikers, but somebody that comes notably to mind is Diogo Jota, who played for Wolverhampton Wolves before playing for Jurgen Klopp. We saw that he wasn't really much of a goal scoring threat. Up until this last season, we saw him, show what he's capable of, and I believe scoring 21 goals in all competitions. While, I'm not someone who typically, gives all the credit to the managers. Obviously, it's due to the players, but the managers put players into the best position to be able to, be a goal-scoring threat. And we saw that with Diogo Jota, and we've seen that with other players as well with Jurgen Klopp. A small little notable player is in Minamino. While he might not have the biggest impact in the Liverpool squad and score a whole lot of goals or even score that often, we saw that in the games where he did start, he did score, you know what I mean? And Takumi Minamino was somebody that not many people knew of, you know what I mean? Nobody knew of his potential. While I understand Minamino's transfer fee isn't like Darwin Nunez and all the expectations are set on Darwin Nunez, we can't ignore that Jurgen Klopp has shown signs of having good man management skills. And while I can't, tell you how fast Darwin Nunez will adapt to Premier League, and I can't tell you with certainty how great of a year he'll have or how terrible of a year he'll have, we can't be ignorant of the fact of the potential and ability he has to be able to make an impact in this Liverpool team, as I do think it'll probably end up being, an interesting season for Liverpool. It'll be something that we'll all want to keep our eyes on and see how he performs, especially with all the talent that the Premier League is, receiving. But with that being said, those are my short thoughts about Darwin Nunez to Liverpool. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.